Hello and welcome to another episode of Soap Goes to the Oscars. This is episode 14, and we are on to the fourth Oscar ceremony, which was the 1930 to 31 ceremony or nominees. And at this time, they were still calling it Outstanding Production instead of Best Picture. Now, all of the movies this time are from 1931. So even though the nominees could be from 1930, these all happen to be from 1931. I'm assuming some of the other categories may have had some 1930 movies in there. This category did not. So once again, I may have mentioned last time, but the movies for this round are Cimarron, East Lynne, Skippy, The Front Page, and Traderhorn. And I thought I was going to do pretty good this round with not having to pay a lot or rent too much. The only one I thought I needed to get on DVD, which I did from eBay, was Traderhorn, out for about $15. And Cimarron is on Apple TV or Prime Video. The Front Page is on Prime Video or HBO Max. And then East Lane and Skippy I had found on YouTube, or so I thought. So I was going to watch both of those last night. I'm recording this, by the way, on March 23rd, 2024. So I was going to watch them both Friday evening. And then I discovered that the version of Skippy on YouTube was actually just the audio, I guess. So not the full movie. So I did end up having to pay about $20 to get that on eBay as well. So this is probably, aside from having to buy a DVD player last time to watch Disraeli, this so far is probably the most expensive round, as it turns out. But the next three I should be able to watch for free. Anyway, moving on here. So this one I watched was East Lynne. This was a 1931 pre-code film. It's based on a novel by Ellen Wood from 1861. It was directed by Frank Lloyd, written by Tom Barry and Bradley King, or adapted by them. It stars Anne Harding as Lady Isabella, Clive Brooke as Captain William Levinson, Conrad Nagel as Robert Carlyle, and Cecilia Loftus as Cornelia Carlyle, which is his sister. Also, Beryl Mercer as Joyce, who played a maid. And there's a few other minor characters as well. So the plot of this is that it's a very short plot here, but the trophy wife of a stodgy man of wealth yearns for a more interesting life. Daughter of a nobleman, her solution leads to scandal, ruin, and an odd denouement. So that's all true, but it's very, very succinct there. One thing I want to say about this was, as I said, it was on YouTube. At the beginning of the movie, they had whoever posted this had some words up about how some of this film was lost, basically the last reel. And so this version, there's two versions on YouTube. There's one version without the last like 10 or 12 minutes of the movie. And then there's this version, which has that last 10 minutes, but it looks like it was filmed in a theater, like on a camcorder or a phone or something. So it's like flickery because, film and video have different frame rates. So if you try to, use video to film a film, it's going to flicker. The audio sounded like it was being recorded in an auditorium of sorts. And then at the end, you can hear people getting up and talking and stuff like that. So, but this is from Wikipedia. It says only one print of the film is known to exist, though bootleg DVD copies exist minus the final scene. And they did mention at the beginning of the YouTube something about I missed it a little bit, but something about like one of the reels fell off a truck or something. The truck driver is very apologetic, but and how it was a tragedy. This is a masterpiece, and they mentioned another movie as well, and and it does suck that these older movies sometimes get lost. I've mentioned it many, many times now, but like one of the earlier ones was The Patriot, and that one is just gone completely. So I wasn't able to watch that. But this says that the print that they have is in good shape, although several frames have an X on them, indicating they were to be removed in the film editing stage. One frame has crosshairs on it, while several frames have ink marks. You can view the film at the University of California, Los Angeles' Instructional Media Lab, Powell Library, after arranging an appointment. The film's copyright was renewed So will not fall into the public domain until 2027. And this has been this book. This says the film is the third adaptation of the book produced by Fox. Previous versions are the 1916 release and one 1925. Going through Wikipedia here, there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 adaptations, some short films, some British films, Australian, and some television series as well. So most recent was 1982, a British television film. So, going back to the condition of the print in this version of it notwithstanding, like that didn't really take anything away from it. Even the last 10 minutes, while it was a little choppier, it was fine. But, with these Oscar movies, even the same holds true today, that not all of these are going to resonate with everybody. I'm sure that, Oppenheimer just won Best Picture in 2024. I know there were plenty of people that hated Oppenheimer. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. And I'm just in awe of it. When I just recently rewatched it, like, Cillian Murphy's amazing. But not every movie is going to hit the same way for every person. And while this may have been considered a masterpiece in 1931, and by many it may be considered that now, I do not think so. And this one immediately started off with everything that I hate about these older movies, like that fake affected transatlantic accent, and just the story did not interest me. So it lost me right away, pretty much. And I was probably on my phone more than I should have been. So it may not be the best one to review it, but I paid attention enough to get the story, and which, by the way, I will spoil a little bit. It was very strange. The basic story, the plot here on Wikipedia, as I read before, says the trophy wife of a stodgy man of wealth yearns for a more interesting life. She's the daughter of a nobleman. Her solution leads to scandal, ruin, and an odd denouement. So she marries this dude who's rich. She already has a son. It's 1930s, so he's kind of a dick. And there's a guy that I can't remember. I think it's Clive Brooke as Captain William Levinson, that she starts talking to. It's someone that she knows from her past, and they talk a few times. And the sister of the guy she marries, Robert Carlyle, does not like the new wife. She kind of runs the house for him, and she doesn't like her. There's a maid named Joyce that does like her because she's young and pretty, and it's someone she can talk to, and she has a little boy that she can help take care of. But the sister, basically, if I remember correctly, uses this Captain William Levinson as a way to get rid of the woman. So creates a scandal that they slept together, and the husband gets mad and kicks her out and divorces her and marries someone new, but keeps their son. So she's heartbroken by that, and because her son was like her whole life. And I think she ends up with the guy that she had been talking to, that supposedly she slept with, and he's also kind of a dick. So her life is not what she had hoped it would be. And at the end, something happens where there's an explosion, and she goes blind, and she goes back to the house just to, quote unquote, see her son one last time. And the maid lets her in. And as she's going to leave, the original husband there that divorced her finds her, leaving, and he's mad. So he kicks her out and fires the maid. And the maid then takes that opportunity to lay into him and tell him, everything he's done wrong, and that the woman never cheated on him, and that she's blind and all this stuff. And she storms off. So the guy is kind of like taken aback and goes to find the woman, who is literally blindly, like stumbling through their house and then out their front door and down this long driveway that they have. And as he's chasing her, spoilers, she walks right off a cliff and dies. It was crazy. And he runs down there and starts calling her name. Like, he sees her laying there, and he's like, "Hey, wake up, wake up." And I'm like, "I don't think she made it, sir." And it sort of ends with him just holding her in his arms. And apparently, they said at the end, people have posted on YouTube that it, I think there was a few more minutes of him just carrying her back to the house or whatever, and that was lost in this version. It wasn't shown. So yeah, this one, like I said, it just did. This one didn't hit with me. I didn't love it, but that's okay. They're not all going to. Obviously, this is the first one I've watched from this year, so it's at the top at the moment. But I have a feeling with maybe the next one I watch, it'll move down the list. So as I said, I had to buy Skippy, so I'm waiting for that to come. I probably will watch the front page next. Obviously, saving Cimarron for last. I want to try to watch the front page first, though, because that's on streaming. Trader Horn and Skippy I will now have on DVD. Cimarron is also streaming, so I want to get to that as quickly as possible because you never know how long these movies are going to last on there. But yeah, hopefully we can get through this year fairly quickly. The next year, 1931 to 32 is when they start doing more than 5. Again, some of the early years had more than 5. Or maybe they had yeah. So the first year had 3. The next 2 years had 5. And then the next 3 years had 5. And then they started doing 8, 10, 12. So yeah, these are going to be harder to get through it in the coming months. And then at some point, around 1944 is when they started doing 5 again. Anyway, yeah, didn't love East Lynne, but moving on. I'll talk to you next time.